Hey everybody, this is Derek for the Grumpy Guy Show talking about episode number 68. Oh, I'm going to have to send you to someone else. Recorded on October 18th, 2022. Tonight we talk about Microsoft locked my file, Tangent sent me there, and oil is used for what? Stick around, it's a good show. Good evening everybody, welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
And I'm Ryan McAllister.
So we got a few topics in there tonight. Who knows what it's going to mean? I personally don't know that they're actually going to be long topics, but who knows? We always get sidetracked.
We do. We always do.
All right, so let's get right into the first one.
What do we got?
So, everybody knows how much of a fan I am of Microsoft and their products. Of course.
Fan.
Yes. Big quotes on that. So, as most people, I'm in a situation where it doesn't matter what I use at home. At work, I'm forced to use Microsoft products. And we happen to use the Office 365 suite, which, for anybody who doesn't know, is supposed to be a collaboration suite where you can actually share files and work on them simultaneously. So, I haven't been doing that because, I'm starting a project and I'm setting up a file for this project. And lo and behold, I come back and let's make it clear. I turn my computer off every night. I'm one of those people who does that. Some people, and I guess this would be a side topic. We're already on a sidetrack. Imagine that. So I was listening to Rich on Tech today, and he said he hasn't turned his Macintosh computer off in 3 years. And all I can think is, why? You really have that much money to waste on electricity just to let the thing sit there? If you're not using it overnight, there's no reason to have it. There's no reason to leave it on. But whatever. So I'm one of those who does turn it off every night because I don't get a discount. But
despite working for National Grid?
Yes, and anybody who doesn't know, National Grid is a utility company. So, at any rate, so I went into work the day after working on this file for quite some time, and I tried opening it up, and what notice do I get? This file is locked by another user. Do you want to open it in read-only mode? Get notified when they're not using it anymore? Or cancel? I'm like, all right, now wait a minute here. This file is stored locally on my laptop. The laptop which is at my home, which I just turned on, which means nobody else is connected to my laptop. And yet this file is locked by another user.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And, these brilliant people that we pay for. And let me make it clear, this is a consulting company that we pay for our IT help desk services. These brilliant people, after I put in a ticket, because this is a large file, I don't have it out on a shared location because it's huge. Every single save of this file freezes things for a couple of, it can be up to a minute or two. And, so I don't want it auto-saving constantly while I'm doing this. So I'm like, so I store it on my local machine because not only that, it also makes it so it's not constantly trying to pass the data back and forth. So these brilliant people, after I put in this ticket that explains exactly what the problem is, they call me and they're talking about the online product. No, this is a local file. Oh, I don't understand what you mean. This is SharePoint. I said, I understand that we use SharePoint. I understand that OneDrive is part of SharePoint. However, This file is stored on my local machine. The hard drive on my laptop or the SSD, whatever. But still, it's local. I'm the only one that can actually open this file. Nobody else can. How is it locked? Oh. So you're saying this is a local file? Yes. It's not on SharePoint? No. Oh. Well, that sounds like an Excel problem then. I'm gonna have to pass you off to somebody else. Really?
Jeez.
So then, next day comes, and I fought with this file. Basically, I have to play games. I have to constantly open the file, see if it allows me to actually work on it. If it doesn't, then I close it and then open it back up, and it randomly decides, oh yeah, okay, you are the only one using this.
Mm-hmm.
So then this next person calls me, and he's saying, well, I don't understand how it can be locked. I said, that's what I'm saying. There's nobody else connected to my computer. It can't be locked. Oh. So this isn't on your OneDrive. No. You're not sharing it with anybody. No. Oh. Well, let me see the error. Okay. So I open a file, and what's it say? Oh, this file's in use by another user. I'm like, see?
Oh,
okay. Well, then we're gonna have to try and reinstall Office 365. All right. Do you have time for me to do that now? Yeah. Okay. So he's I gave him control of my laptop, and he's trying to reinstall it. He said, I don't know what's happening. What's happening? I said, well, it came up with a pop-up asking for an admin password. Oh, I guess I'm going to have to defer you to somebody else because I can't do that. I'm like, are you kidding me? So then 2 days go by, right? And I get an email from the IT help desk. We tried to contact you today, but we didn't get a reply. Is this still an issue? Wait a minute. So I put in the ticket clearly that I do not have a business phone because I'm at home and they don't supply me a cell phone. Mm-hmm. You want to contact me, you have to contact me via email or Teams. That's it. There's your 3 ways. So I replied back to the message and said, well, yeah, this is still an issue because you haven't solved it. And I don't know how you tried to contact me, but I didn't get any instant messages. I didn't get any calls through Teams. I didn't get any emails besides this one. So please solve my issue. So then today,
we're going to have to send you to someone else.
Yeah. So then today, somebody IMs me and says, do you have, it's in the morning, and I had a whole bunch of meetings in the morning. Do you have time that we can work on this today? I said, yeah, I'm free from 12 until 2:30. Okay, great. Thanks for that. So 12 o'clock came around. No contact. 1 o'clock, no contact. So 2:30, when my next meeting starts, still no contact. I'm like, seriously. The last guy, I told him, I said, set up a meeting on my schedule. That way it gets blocked off. Nobody's going to set me up in a meeting or anything like that. And then we can do it. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll do that. He never did that. So finally I messaged him 25 minutes after I told him I was going to be available and said, hey, you going to help me? And I have a feeling that's what I'm going to have to do with this guy too. It's just ridiculous. And this is all, and I've seen online, because, yeah, instead of going right to them, I searched first, folks. This is a known issue with Office 365. Plain and simple. If you're using the desktop app, which, because I'm using more advanced stuff that's not available in their web version, I have to use the desktop app. But this is a known issue with their products. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And the solution that I've seen over and over again is, to solve this, you have to close all Office products and then go into Task Manager and force stop WinWord. And I'm like, okay, so I tried it. Yeah, number one, there's no WinWord listed in the task manager, so that's not running, and I'm still having the issue. So I said, well, what the hell? Let me reboot. Didn't do anything. You know, so now it's just down to randomly sit there getting ticked off because the stupid thing won't let me work on a file that's stored locally on my machine. Brilliant.
Oh.
Yeah, we got to defer you to somebody else. But, you know, I'm just like, seriously, people, this is stupid. You know, and we're supposedly paying for a higher level of service from Microsoft for this, and all I can think is, why the hell haven't I been transferred to that yet? Instead of all these people that we're paying to just say, to go through their little script, just to figure out that they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they can't help me. I'm just like, come on.
To go through this script and eventually say, oh, I'm going to have to send you to somebody else.
Yeah. And, you know, what makes it worse is we use a VPN product because, you know, we're remote and there's some sensitive data. So I get it. I understand that. But they did an update on the VPN product last week.
Anyway, this episode's sponsored by...
Yeah. Yeah.
Not really anybody.
Yeah. So you know...
Although if we do get a sponsor, don't be surprised if it's a VPN. They sponsor everybody.
Yeah. But, you know, so they did an update on this VPN last week, and apparently they didn't test it because it broke everything. It just would not work because of the firewall that's installed on the laptop. So, I mean, you don't know what a firewall is. You know what a VPN is because of that. But basically, a firewall stops people from getting into your computer. Which, if you're using a VPN, I'm not quite sure why you need a firewall as well. But hey, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a security expert. So, I'm sitting there and I'm like, seriously, what the hell? And then I'm looking at, because yes, we have like 5 different freaking messaging services. We have Teams, but then we can't just use Teams. No, we've got Outlook, and then on top of that, we have Yammer, which is another messaging service. And you know the problem with Yammer? You post something in Yammer, you get a notification in Teams that you got a Yammer message, and you get an email about it. So here I am. I'm like, what the hell? So I go out there.
Sounds like something that your youngest school would do.
Yeah. So
a phone call, text, and an email.
You know, with the ticket that I put in about the VPN issue, I looked out on Yammer because there was a little link there said, hey, this seems to be a hot topic. So I look out there, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So then somebody within our own IT department, he posted on there, he says, don't you people test these before you actually push them out? I just started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, that's got to be so embarrassing for somebody in IT to say that. But, you know, this is the crap that you got to deal with Microsoft and their products. You know, they push them out. Nobody's competing with them, really. I mean, yes, Google is, but, you know, seriously, large businesses aren't going with Google's product. Some are, don't get me wrong. Some are. But you get some places that use much more complex spreadsheets, and they can't use Google's products because they're just not powerful enough. But I'm just like, seriously, get your shit together, Microsoft. This is ridiculous. So anyhow, what do you say we move off of the whole Microsoft is a piece of crap topic, at least for a while?
I say your volume's incredibly inconsistent.
I don't know. I think that's on your part because it's been pretty consistent on the meter level here.
It's probably these damn headphones.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how about our next topic?
What do we got?
So we had some protesters, I believe, over in Britain.
Don't we always have protesters?
Yeah, well, these ones were really, really brilliant. More of the extremely young ones that probably spent all kinds of money on gasoline to drive to this I don't even know where it was, some art show where they had some Van Gogh.
Mm-hmm.
So they walked up to this priceless Van Gogh with a can of tomato soup and splashed the tomato soup all over it.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And then proceeded to glue their hands to the wall.
Seriously?
Yeah. All in protest over the use of oil.
Oh my God.
So here's a problem with it. The first problem, they don't realize that the oil-based paints that were used are part of the reason the painting is still around. They just last. That's all there is to it. They're not fading. They're not flaking. That's it. I mean, seriously, that's an advantage of oil-based paints, is they last a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But then, problem number two. A lot of people don't realize that plastics are based on what? Oil. So that plastic tube that they carried their glue with to glue their hands to the wall,
it's made of oil.
Would not be possible if it wasn't for the oil that they're protesting. And as I said, if they didn't spend a lot of money in gas to get there, they probably took public transportation, which is powered by oil. It's just like all these that whole climate meeting. I can't even think of what the hell it was called. Where they had all these climate experts from all over the world coming together, and all these world leaders coming to talk about climate and climate change and everything. How'd they get there?
They all flew.
Yep, big jets. And it's not just one jet. You look at somebody like Biden. He's going to have a jet for himself, and then he's going to have two jets going over carrying his security team.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to get there, and what's he going to do? Well, he's going to take this extremely heavy, very, very heavy limousine powered by gasoline, following behind all kinds of security.
A whole bunch of more vehicles.
Who are driving gasoline
powered by
vehicles.
Gasoline.
Exactly. But they're going to save the planet.
Yeah, sure you are.
I mean, at least with this one, from what I understand, that last conference or whatever the hell it was called, at least what they did supposedly was all of the security escorts that were provided by the country, I think it was Switzerland, that hosted it. At least all of them were riding electric motorcycles. Not that, I think that's going to save the planet, but, at least they're not burning
practicing
gas.
What you preach.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And all these people that are preaching about electric this, electric that. Well, how about this? You be the first ones to go up in an electric plane.
Good luck.
Yeah. You fly over the Atlantic in an electric plane. Better yet, how about you fly over the Pacific in an electric plane? Let's see how happy you are and how little stress you have over whether or not you're going to make it. Because I ain't going to do it.
Not me.
But at any rate, a part of the problem, like I said, is they aren't thinking about the fact that, oil is probably heating their home. Oil got them to this place to do their protest. Oil probably supplied at least part of the power that was used to create the shirts that they were wearing. More than likely, the screen-printed shirts they were wearing were done with an oil-based paint. So, I mean, seriously.
Because, as we mentioned, oil-based paints last millions of years.
They don't last millions of years. I mean, they do fade, they do chip at some point,
yeah.
but, you know...
But it takes a long while.
Yeah. You know, I mean, more than likely, and again, I'm guessing, but more than likely, the clothing that they were wearing was not made in the country where they were.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I can't remember. I think it might have been Great Britain that they were in, but more than likely it wasn't made there. But even if it was, more than likely the cotton that was used to make those clothes was not grown in Great Britain.
Mm-hmm.
And why do I say that? Well, because Great Britain doesn't
grow cotton.
They don't have the right climate for it.
It's always cold and it's always raining.
Yeah. You know, it's a very wet place, and if I'm not an expert on agriculture, but I believe that cotton requires fairly dry conditions. But at any rate, you know, so I mean, I understand that, you know, they got to stand up and they've got to make an example and all that, but at the same time, something that Van Gogh did, however long ago, I don't even know how long ago he was around.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever he did, they had no clue about any kind of issues with oil at all.
Mm-hmm.
And more than likely, the oil that's used in that is not from crude oil.
Mm-hmm.
Because they weren't mining crude oil or drilling for crude oil back then. Sorry, folks. And it's not like, you know, they actually use crude oil in oil paint. At least I don't believe they do. But, you know, I mean, you're going to protest something. Make sure you get all your facts straight before you do.
Yep.
You know, either that or just be a complete dumbass like us and don't do any research and just bitch.
That's basically what all of Twitter does.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I fit there perfectly.
All right, so what do you say we get to our last topic?
All right, let's see what we got.
So what we have now kind of goes back to what we complained about with Hurricane Ian, with the reporters being down there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of goes back to it.
Okay.
You see, with Hurricane Ian, there was actually something there to report on. So, what I've seen many, many times recently is they're sending reporters out to these places that are closed. And why are they sending them there? Well, because the story's about it.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, everybody knows that I've complained about the whole I-81 viaduct through Syracuse and all that crap. Well, apparently the transportation secretary, the national transportation secretary, was in Syracuse to praise it and all this other crap like that, right?
Uh-huh.
So he was here during the day because, well, you know, he's a politician. He only works Monday through Friday during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And at 6 o'clock at night...
He works Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
We all know that politicians don't actually work.
Yeah. But at any rate, so it's at 6 o'clock at night.
Being a politician is not a real job.
At 6 o'clock at night, the news station sends the reporter out to stand underneath the viaduct.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why not have the guy just stand inside the studio? But no. Got to go stand underneath the viaduct in Syracuse. Yeah, we're talking about this. Okay. Yep. Well, it's dark.
And you can barely see it because it's dark.
You know, because, I mean, it's set up like kind of like it is here with me, with a light facing right on me so you can't see anything behind me.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, he and they keep doing this stuff. And then there's there was a situation with the Baldwinsville School District where the superintendent, he was first recorded on video crowd surfing at the football game, which, everybody's like, oh, he was crowd surfing, oh my God. And all I can think is, all right, part of his job is to motivate his students to have some school spirit. Why not do something that they would do? I don't see an issue with him crowd surfing.
Neither do I.
But later that day, or later that night...
Hell, I'd encourage him to do that.
Yeah. Later that night, he was arrested for DWI. 2 times over the legal limit, right? So every night since then, this news station has sent reporters out to the school at 6 o'clock at night, standing outside the school to talk about this whole situation. I'm like,
why?
What good does that do? What does that prove? Does that prove that you have the money to waste to drive your gas-powered vehicle out there, to run your generator, which is gas-powered, so that you can power your microwave transmission station, so that you get the news feed back to the news station in a live manner? And then what kills me is, these reporters, they apparently aren't really, really paying that much attention, because, they'll say, the anchor in the, in the studio will say, and now we're going to turn to so-and-so out in the field. And that so-and-so out in the field sitting there, and thank you. It's like, really? I mean, come on. You can't have a little bit better coordination than that?
I guess not.
They use microwave transmissions because it's fast. And I'm just watching it and I'm like, it's faster than 30 seconds for you to hear, and we throw it to you. And you just sitting there for 30 seconds to a minute, and I'm like, speak. Stop nodding your head. Speak.
Say something.
I just want to see one of them going, mm-mm.
No. Not yet.
Instead of nodding their head, shaking it. No, don't do it. No, not me. I'm not ready.
Not yet. I'm not ready yet.
The building's still open. No.
The wind just screwed up my hair.
Yeah. But I don't get it. I mean, why are we wasting the money to send these people out there and then turn around and throw thousands of ads in? I don't. Number one, I don't get why we haven't. So, this news station, they have a 4 to 4:30 coverage, which covers most of the news that's going to happen in their hour-and-a-half long show that starts at 5. I'm like, why do we need 2 hours of local news? Oh, I know why. Because they can't come up with a unique show. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm really, really getting fed up with this whole crap. And, this.
And isn't the world news only a half hour?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. The news never used to be. The local news was always a half an hour. Mm-hmm. I don't even know when it started going longer than a half an hour, but it certainly wasn't when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. It likely happened sometime when I was in college. I don't know, because in college I didn't watch the news much. I didn't have time. But, now it's like...
You were a college student. You didn't have time for anything.
Yeah. It went to an hour and a half long, and I was like, all right, this is a bit ridiculous. And then they started with a half an hour show earlier. I'm like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. And then, the sports section in the local news was always like 5 minutes. Well, now they have to have coverage. Once a week they have, right after the news, they have a half an hour long show about Syracuse University. I'm like, really? You take a half an hour to do that? And then on top of that, half an hour a week, they have something about the Bills. I'm like, really?
Really?
Because the 5.5 hours that's covered on all the sports channels isn't going to cover the Bills enough for you. You got to have your own half-hour show. I mean, come on.
I would say that ESPN covers the Bills enough, but they don't care about football. They don't even care about football anymore.
Yeah, well.
It's all basketball and nothing else over there.
Yeah, it's because it's all about money, and that's the only sport that they were actually paying enough money to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard recently that the NFL Sunday Ticket, which is something that DirecTV has had forever.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that they weren't going to renew it because over the last 5 years they've lost, what was it, something like $10 billion?
Wow.
Yes, I said billion with a B.
Yep.
So they were like, no, we're not going to renew it. And the NFL's looking for somebody to pay more. I'm like, pay more for what? They couldn't make money. What makes you think anybody else is going to make any money?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But, you know, we're just too far sidetracked to even bother.
Yep.
Yeah, well, folks. I'm sure you've
Local
heard
news
it
is too long. Local news is too long. World news is too short.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's too much sports coverage.
Yep.
All right, so I'm sure you heard the music going.
And that means good night.
We'll see ya.